What was the childbirth trend when I gave birth in 1970? Interestingly, it was a skills-based approach to childbirth because the very first childbirth preparation classes were Lamaze and the Bradley method. Lamaze was basically taught in every hospital across the United States. In all of the states, every city, everybody went to Lamaze classes. There was a very high societal expectation that pregnant families attend a 6-week childbirth class. We didn't have any choices. We just learned skills. The Lamaze and the Bradley skills worked for some of us. They didn't work for many of us. You can't breathe for hours doing this. And fathers did coach us. They helped us. They breathed with us. They timed contractions. They looked to see if we were being rag dolls because that was part of it. The Bradley method had a different form of breathing, which was in the nose and out the mouth. Sounded good, and guys got it. In the nose, out the mouth. So this is what we can sound like. We can sound like this. We can run or climb stairs. We can have sex. We can moan. And groan. And we can scream. But fathers were told in the nose, out the mouth. And so whatever women sounded like, they just thought women were doing it right. And as women moved from relaxed to moaning and groaning, they wanted help. So we knew that the Lamaze skills, when birthing better started to develop in the early 1970s, was it didn't work for a lot of people. We needed a better set of skills. But there was a very high societal expectation, very high, that we all attend these classes and learn skills. In fact, Bradley was called father coached or husband coached childbirth. What did this do in the United States when we lacked choices and when we followed our doctor's orders and when we had standards, assessments, monitoring procedures back then? So what did it do for multiple millions of expectant families from the 60s to the mid-70s? Multiple millions of us went into the hospital with skills. And when we used skills, we didn't suffer as much as all the generations in front of us. And the labor and delivery nurses and the obstetricians saw multiple millions of skilled mothers and fathers. And just let that sink in. We used our skills around all of the assessment monitoring procedures. They saw multiple millions of women my age and my ex-husband using skills. And that profoundly changed childbirth for the positive. You're the beneficiaries of it. But there was a huge mistake made in the early 1960s when the very first natural birth advocates, and Lamaze, who was an obstetrician, and Bradley, who was an obstetrician, and in New Zealand, where our trust is, Grantley Dick Reed, he was an obstetrician. They could see, rightly so, that all births, were becoming more medicalized. And they were questioning that. We have a right to question that. They wanted to know why low-risk women, normal pregnancies and births, had to have so many assessments, monitoring procedures. And so these three doctors, these obstetricians said, for low-risk women who have a low-risk pregnancy and are assumed to have a normal low-risk birth, if they use these skills, if they learn these skills, then we will achieve 3 goals. We'll have natural births, pain-free labors, without medical assessments, monitoring procedures. That would be the goals. That was the first mistake. Why is that the first mistake? Because 100% of pregnant women are going to give birth. And unless you're unconscious, giving birth is the activity you do with your baby. And for humans, every activity is best done with skills. So there was a path that opened up when I gave birth in 1970, and that path, one was taken where you are now, and one was not taken, but this is where birthing better and the families reside. The path that was taken was that those skills were targeted to a particular group of pregnant women, women who were having low-risk normal pregnancies and births, and were assumed to have a low-risk normal birth. And that has continued today. That was the beginning of natural versus medical. But multiple millions of pregnant women using Lamaze and Bradley use skills, no matter what their birth was like. Back then, there was a 4.5% cesarean rate. 95% of us birthed. And we'll talk about what that meant in reality in another one of the videos. So understand that the mistake that was made was that skills should have been advocated for every pregnant woman in every birth. And that's what Birthing Better did in the early 1970s. Every person who was participating in creating those skills came from being pregnant. That was it. They were going to give birth. They cared about their baby's birth. That was it. And because mothers and fathers were being encouraged to work together, the motivation of these families was to develop effective skills. And that's what our trust is sharing with you. So just remember, there was a mistake made. It should have been birth skills for all pregnancies and all births because it's an activity. And that's what we're saying to you today. Your generation has the ability to change the message. And it should become absolutely normal and natural that when you're pregnant, you seek out birth skills and commit to using birth skills to birth your baby. No matter where you birth, no matter who is there, no matter your personal circumstances now or your beliefs, your choices, your lack of choices, the change of choices, or what happens to or around you during the birth. You got pregnant to have a baby, not a type of birth. You happen to be pregnant with a baby who is breech, and that baby may come through your body in a breech position. So, like Birthing Better Families, we wanted to know what to do. And these are the skills we're going to share with you.